Hey you guys, how's it going? I am feeling a lot better after several days of recovery from my GI bleed. I'm still not entirely sure exactly what it is, just as a recap. I know that it's not stomach ulcers because even in the middle of a flare-up, I can eat like very, very, very spicy salsa and stuff like that. It seems to be some kind of more wearing of the overall stomach lining that just gets irritated and then can bleed if it gets too thin from things like coffee, or if I had accidentally taken NSAIDs, it would have been worse. If I take anything like a leave for like 2 or 3 days in a row, I end up like actually vomiting blood, and I definitely end up in the ER on those trips. The reason why I think this is sort of a triggered sort of response in me to cover this so much more thoroughly is because last summer my father died, and it was over what looked like a sinus infection turned into lung infection, which turned into double pneumonia, and he died. However, while he was at the hospital, something very interesting to note was that he kept having showing anemic symptoms, and they tried 2 full blood infusions, and for some reason he just couldn't keep the blood. He just kept staying anemic, and I'm wondering, they did notice that he had blood in his urine towards the end, but it was towards the very, very end, so we do know that he had some kind of kidney infection. But I'm just wondering if there's some kind of comorbidity with what happened there, because of what happened just this last time. I've been just paying better attention. If it's possible, and with some more research, that what happened to my father was the same similar thing that would happen to me, that we just have that same genetic trait of the weaker, sensitive stomach lining. And if anemia can trigger a lung infection, that could turn deadly for a person if it's not properly maintained. Especially in my family, where we tend to avoid doctors. I honestly think it's probably because we are very sensitive to things like medications too. And so just traditionally, we follow very, very at-home methods. For instance, what's been working for me, I've been eating whole cloves of garlic about every hour or two, and just crunch it up and drink it down with some pineapple juice, which is specifically good for congestion. I've been having lots of soup, lots of bone broth, tons of hot tea with lemon in it, lots of ginger powder. I'm trying to think about the whole list. I've been definitely following all my protocols. In my soups, I put in tons of oregano, which is a natural antibiotic, and I slept with a humidifier. Although, again, with the sensory issues, I slept with a humidifier, woke up at 2 a.m. soaking wet from the humidifier, and just, I don't know, it just, you know, you feel like when you're just completely soaking wet, like all of a sudden just like everything shuts down. My whole body was like hurting from it. So I kind of had to wake up and just have an early morning, play it as it goes. But I do feel like, oh, and I've been doing breathwork exercises. I went into a link for one that was specifically for weight loss, but oh my goodness, it pushed me through the limits, and I will definitely try to cover more about that later, maybe put some links in the comments or something, although I'm not entirely sure how to do that, so I'll at least find out that guy's name and mention it in the next video. But that definitely has pulled through. My wheezing has pretty much gone away. So I still do get congested from time to time, but that's like my little, otherwise I would have needed actual antibiotics pack. That's another little trick that, and it doesn't work every time. For my father, he was in his 70s, and he was trying to keep up with that, but he was, unfortunately, he caught it too late. And I guess he wasn't being as vigorous about it. His body had broken down, so he wasn't as capable of getting outside, getting some sunshine, getting some of that healing therapy as well that kind of can help with lung conditions and stuff. And so unfortunately, it did end up taking his life. But I do think that our digestion, our guts, I think that might have been actually the true root cause. They were so busy trying to get his oxygen levels up that I think the anemia was falling secondary to that. But if the anemia was creating the oxygen level issues, then that's why they weren't winning the battle in the hospital either. It's just a theory. I don't know. I do know that I'm doing well now at home with my little home remedies. I also, another thing that I took that's been really drastically helping, I had run out of my beef organ supplements that I've been taking before, and I just didn't think that was that big of a deal. But because of this condition that I was having, the bleeding and everything, and I was tired and just showing signs of anemia even, I went ahead and got myself back on the beef organ supplements yesterday. And I think that that has really drastically, I've seen a massive improvement in my lung function. And so I feel like there needs to be a little bit more thought into that. If you've got some kind of issue, potentially with any kind of internal bleeding in your life, and you have some kind of respiratory issue, I believe that they need to more aggressively handle the anemia in order for the lung infection to stand a chance of the body fighting it. That's just my theory. I obviously, I can't really say much more to it because I'm not going to like run around and test this on people. I'm not a doctor, but just my personal experience with this condition, with this kind of issue. I do believe that at least my lung condition was definitely tied to the anemia. And I do think that that's something that is worth taking note of when we're talking about recovery of those conditions. So sorry I keep repeating myself and going on and on. There's not really much to update. Again, I've been, having trouble getting my oxygen levels up because I was just so congested. So I really haven't been doing too much outside of the breathing exercises because obviously if you do too much cardio when your lung capacity is down or your oxygen levels are low, you can actually create too much of a rate increase in your heart and give yourself a heart attack. So we're not trying to play that game. As much as none of that was that elevated for me, it could have gone there if left untreated. And I do think that, especially this winter season and everything, that's when a lot of people suffer with their health and everything. And I just think that while we're watching the front door, sometimes it's the side window that's getting us. That's where the draft is coming in. And I do think that it's important that we watch out for our overall health and nutrition instead of trying to zero in on one symptom, because at the end of the day, your whole body is experiencing something. And I think it helps to get to the bottom of that as much and thoroughly as possible. So just a personal note on that. Obviously, this is not a medical statement. I'm not trying to say anything or try to create science out here. It's just personally what I've noticed, and it'd be interesting if anybody ever saw these videos, if they could talk about their own experiences with anything similar, because it would be interesting to hear. I do know, I was looking through medical files and stuff, and they did say that having anemia can lead to cold symptoms, lung infections, things that look like it's coming from somewhere else. And so, yeah, from me to you, let's all stay healthy, let's all stay alive so we can get fit, stay happy, be productive, and do the best we can, benefit society and all that. Cheers, 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 guys.